Welcome back, everybody. Episode 7 of Recliner Sports Talk. My name is Nick.
I'm Brandon.
And we are back for another great week of sports talk. Okay, so this week, what we're going to cover, we're going to cover our opinion on what the Eagles did this past weekend.
Woo!
Thank you. What would we do if we had an NBA expansion team? And then lastly, top 5 sporting events we have actually attended, whether it's the culture, the air, the hype of the game was a good game, a good experience, whatever it may be. So first, I am going to let the Giants fan, the 6-win Giants fan,
stop bringing records into this,
talk about what we saw in the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington football team's game prime time on Sunday. Brandon, the floor is yours.
It's only fitting in the year that 2020 was that Doug Peterson would screw me over greatly. Now, I was watching the game with my family. You know, typical I'm rooting for the Eagles game. Doesn't happen. I'm a Giants fan. So that was the one problem that I had is I was actually rooting for the Eagles, which you never do. You never do. Because what happened? Doug Peterson is a freaking asshole. It's 14-17. You're losing.
What were they? They were what?
You're losing on the goal line. It is 4th down, right? 4th down. He knew at that moment. Doug Peterson knew at that moment he was putting Sudfeld in. But guess what he did? Nick, what did he do? He went for it.
I'm not going to say it.
Doug
What do you have?
Peterson goes for it on 4th more than anyone. He goes for 4th more than anyone. Why do you not kick that field goal? You tie the game up. Guess what? Washington was stinking. They put up a stinker the whole game. And I don't care if you're a Washington football fan or not, you can admit that was a stinker of a game. And it was only fitting the last game of the year was an NFC East game in prime time to watch that BS happen. And you take out your future quarterback, because Carson Wentz is probably going to be gone. He's your second quarterback. You take him out to evaluate Nate Sudfeld, who, by the way, pretty sure he's been in the league 4 or 5 years. You evaluate him in the preseason. You evaluate him at practice every day. You really put him in a 3-point game in the 4th quarter, in the 3rd quarter, actually. You put him in the game. Nate Sudfeld, a 3rd-string quarterback. The last 3rd-string quarterback to play for Philadelphia was A.J. Feely. Well, guess what? Nate Sudfeld is not A.J. Feely. And you're down 3 points. Remember, these guys, these players, they have heart. I don't care if you're a losing team, if you're not going to make the playoffs or not. Apparently, 2 defensive players had to be held back in the locker room. Doug Peterson blatantly lied to the media's face, blatantly lied to my face. I don't care as a Giants fan that I didn't get in. The blatant disrespect and regard for sport that Doug Peterson has. I don't give a shit about your draft pick next year. Do you think these players care? Half of them might not even be on the team. They want to win the game. They are paid. Doug Peterson, you are paid to win the game. To win the game. And what do? You put in a 3rd-string quarterback in a 3-point game, which should have been a tie game. Could have won. But what do? You put in a guy who throws an interception on his first drive and fumbles it on his second. The dude does not belong in the NFL. That's a different story. But I got to keep going because this story is a mess. The Eagles organization needs to fight. Lori, you're the owner. Grow up hair. Fire Peterson, please. He does not deserve to be in the NFL. He's making fun of sports, basically. Oh, I'm just going to lose the game. I'm going to throw in. Do you see? I really don't understand this at all. Why you throw the game? Why play the sport? Why play? You're getting paid. This is a prime time game. The NFL should be pissed off that their ratings probably plummeted when Nate Sudfeld goes in. Guess who is your employer, Doug Peterson? Yes, the Eagles, but who is their employer? The NFL. If you are making their ratings go down, bro, you deserve to be fired, kicked out. I don't think you should even coach Division III football anymore. He's a scrub. I hate Doug Peterson. The Eagles suck, and I'm with the players. I back the Philadelphia Eagle players. Doug Peterson, I've been talking shit all year. F you. You need to go.
All right. Well, parents, hope you covered your children's ears there. So
I didn't say that many cuss words,
listen,
did I?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, listen. Philadelphia Eagles.
It's sensitive.
Thank you. I thank you. 'Cause I am a Washington football fan. The only non-Philly team that I like. Okay. Now, definitely not a front runner here. I've always been a Washington fan. You can ask Brandon. Listen, seems only right that a Philadelphia team would want to tank here. Okay. They got the number 8 pick with
I
that.
like how sensitive you are right now.
Doug Peterson also mentioned before the game
Here we go.
that Nate Sudfeld
Let me hear
will
it.
play in the game. He didn't say he was going to play
In crunch time?
Scott
In crunch
in the
time.
game. He didn't say he was going to play offense coordinator in the game. He said he was going to play quarterback.
In
the
crunch time.
Now, when asked, was he going to play if the game was close? Doug Peterson did not answer. We know the question was, yes, he will play. Now, could they have done some better things? Like kick the field goal there. But I also don't disagree with it. A team that has nothing to lose, why not go for it? In the red zone, Jalen Hurts was very effective that night, ran 2 touchdowns in. So I would also anticipate him scrambling in for a pass, for a run there. Okay. Hurts got this stat from my Philadelphia Eagles respondent, Zach Candeloro. Hurts his last 20 drives for the Eagles. They scored 17 points. 2 of them were on runs that he had. He was 22 for 56. That's 44% passing.
Better than Sudfeld. That's all I'm going to say.
0 passing touchdowns.
Better than
3
Sudfeld.
interceptions.
Better than Sudfeld.
He had 1 fumble, and he had a passer rating of 41.2. Now listen, they didn't get the 8th overall pick. I was wrong. They got the 6th overall pick. Okay. So listen, Philadelphia Eagles, do yourself a favor. I might be wrong on that. It's either 8 or 6. Okay. Go ahead and draft someone. Go ahead and draft a lineman. Go ahead and draft maybe a receiver. Okay. Only problem is, I think you wait till the 2nd round to get a receiver in the name of Chris Olave. Okay. I think he'll be their 2nd round. I don't think Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith. If you do anything, go Pitts there. Okay. I don't think what the Eagles did was wrong.
Kyle Pitts at 6?
Giants should have won more than 6 games. Maybe they could have been better, like Washington, and won 7. Okay.
No, stop.
The better team
Washington didn't win the game
right now.
I'd argue the Eagles lost the game.
In the league
No.
is in the playoffs.
No.
Alex Smith will be better this weekend.
The Eagles lost the game. Washington didn't win it.
Hey, who came out to win? I cannot wait to buy NFC East champion.
Oh my God, here we go.
2020 t-shirt. I might get the hoodie, the tank top, and the swim trunks. All right. They were NFC East champs, fair and square. There was no ties.
Fair and square. No.
There was
no
points. People played. You play to win the game, and they won the game.
And Philadelphia didn't play to win the game.
Play to win the game.
They didn't play. I want to hear it out of your mouth.
Washington looked in the 4th quarter.
They looked terrible.
And defensively, in the 4th quarter, they looked great.
They're playing a 3rd-string quarterback. Nick, I could go in there and play better than Sudfeld. Are you kidding me? No.
Now listen.
Stop it.
Last point. Nate Sudfeld had to play that game. The reason being is because they got to know if they got to find a backup quarterback. Because One of those two will be gone. Wentz or Hurts will be gone by the
Why
start.
would Hurts be gone?
One of them will be gone. And I think it's Jalen Hurts. Now, see this? I don't care what his stats were the last 20 drives. I don't care. He has the hype. He leads the team. He's going to have value with him, at least a second-round pick value. And guess what? You have a lot of money put into Wentz. Now, is he the – I would love to have Hurts. If I'm the Eagles, I want Hurts as the player. But financially, it does not make sense. So why don't we build up around our Pro Bowl-type quarterback, not every year, not this year, but Wentz has proven that he can play well. You got to ride out with Wentz. The contract is too much to try to get rid of. This is not a Giancarlo Stanton trade, okay? Derek Jeter is not in charge of the Eagles. They need to have a good draft here. They can get free agents. Hey, Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, all are free agents after this year. One of them's going. Hopefully one of them comes here. But listen, they had to do this. They had to find out, do we need to get another backup next year? And Wentz will be their guy. I say that. So I don't think what the Eagles did was wrong.
I can't believe
they played for themselves, and that's what matters. They played for their best thing. And I don't think it's all on Doug Peterson. I think that came from up top.
What?
I think that came from up top. That was not Doug Peterson's decision. That came from up top. And he has to wear it. And I believe that, hey, Morristown, New Jersey, shout out Scott Zimmer. Doug Peterson is going to get an earful this year at the local country club where he golfs at. I guarantee it. But unfortunately, they will be back. And that's what I got on the Eagles.
I can't believe you said any of that.
Yep. All right. Well,
you know what? I'm not going to even comment
Saturday
because I'll let our viewers comment how blasphemous your take is. You are above Stephen A. Smith level. That was nuts. I've never heard anything worse than that.
Hey, should have started Colt McCoy. Maybe you guys would have won some more games. All right.
Here we go.
Next up. So there has been some talk. I don't think it's all true, talking about expansion team in the NBA because of COVID. But I don't even know if it'll happen. But it sparked our thoughts. Everybody always talks about expansion teams, right? And I think Brandon and I kind of have an idea of where these expansion teams would be. But we thought we'd take our twist on it. If we were NBA officials, not the people that blow the whistle, people in charge, and we had the money to pay for a team, Brandon, where are you putting your expansion team? Just give me the location first.
I know. I'm looking up the stat now. Only location?
You can give me the team name too if you have a team name.
I am going to be the Seattle Supersonics again. I know that is the obvious choice, and I'm an obvious guy. Seattle. I'm a business guy.
The easiest pick.
Listen to me. I'm a business major, accounting major, undergrad, and I'm getting my master's in business. So here you go. I'm a business guy. Guess what? Seattle has 4 million people in their metro area. It is a growing population. Millennials move in there. Tech, everything. Money. Seattle, money. Guess what? Guess what, Nick? Guess what? It's the biggest metro in the U.S. that does not have an NBA franchise. It's obvious. They already have I'm bringing the Supersonics back. That is an obvious choice. You're telling me Portland, Oregon has a team? Portland, Oregon. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. New Orleans, by the way, New Orleans is not as big as you think. New Orleans has like 350,000 people that live in the city. I'm not saying metro, in the city. Guess what? They have a team. Memphis, Tennessee has a team. There's only 450,000, 500,000 people in Memphis. Seattle, come on. It's obvious, Nick. I don't want you coming at me.
All right. Well, I am going with Vancouver. Another place.
I actually like that.
Yeah. All right. Now listen. I wanted to go someplace like new. All right, Dover, Delaware.
No,
Uh,
come on.
let's be honest. So, there's teams in Texas. We
There's
weren't
too
saying
many in
like New
Texas.
Mexico. There's team
No,
in Utah. There's team in Arizona, California. Not putting North South Dakota. Not putting Maine.
not
And I can
Idaho
go
either.
and on. I'm not saying Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh would care less.
No, they're not a basketball
You know what I mean?
town.
Like I could keep on going on all these cities.
Buffalo,
But
maybe.
Vancouver,
I thought Baltimore and Buffalo.
Baltimore would probably be a good one too, honestly. I don't know about
Yeah.
Buffalo, but definitely Baltimore. That's a good idea. But Vancouver, now listen, they're one of the more dense cities, which means, just by square foot, the amount of population. I want to say they're like around top five for most densely populated cities in North America.
Really?
Again, just
Did not know
density
that.
based off location and how
Well,
big the city is.
the geography. Remember, you have the Whistler, which is where shout out the Olympics in 2010 was there. There's mountains.
Yes,
There's a lot of rivers. It's basically Seattle 2.0.
yeah. Now, I was going to name it the Vancouver Wild because of all their vast nature around them. They have a lot of bodies of water, mountains, mountain tops, forest, a lot of cool different things around there, different animals. Now, I'd love to go Grizzlies, but that's already taken. Memphis has that. So I was
Well,
like,
they were in Vancouver and they moved to Memphis and
yes,
they named themselves the Grizzlies. By the way, not only do grizzly bears not live on the southeast, but black bears don't even live in Memphis. They live in eastern Tennessee in the Great Smoky Mountains. Why are they the Grizzlies?
yeah.
Uh,
Here's the
why
thing.
didn't they change their name?
I,
Why did
I think um, Tennessee would be all for changing that, or sorry, Memphis would be all for changing from the Grizzlies. I think they could come up with something creative.
how
Where we
about the
get it too.
Blues?
Yeah, something
Memphis
like that, right?
Blues.
So I think they could change that. Now, listen, they've had NBA teams, so they know how to deal with that. They have the population I have right here, based on the 2017 census here, 675,000 people, over 675,000 people in the city. So it's not like it's a small
In
city.
Vancouver.
Um, but here's the thing: they're also on the West Coast. Um,
They
and
have a hockey team.
they can yeah, and they continue to venture outside of the U.S. I think a lot of people are for venturing outside of the U.S. in a reasonable area. Here's your reasonable area. They can go to Portland easily, right there.
Oh,
All
yeah,
those
that's
West
not
Coast
that far.
teams,
Well, airplanes are a thing.
airplanes, exactly. Hey, did you know James Naismith was Canadian? We need more
I did
Canadian
not know that. Was
basketball.
he really?
Yes, he was.
That's a fun fact. Didn't know it.
So again, continue to venture out. And hey, this is a great destination area. There's a lot of people that can travel there. And I even think NBA players would appreciate. Now, again, maybe James Harden ain't appreciate it unless they got some different establishments. But I think a lot of NBA
No,
players would appreciate just going to Vancouver
dude,
because it's something different. It's something
no.
new.
Here's the thing. Vancouver is up and coming. In fact, I want to say Vancouver is the highest GDP per capita of any Canadian city. Like, there's a lot of wealth there. Like, the rents are through the roof. Like, it's basically just as bad as California, Oregon, and Washington. Like, the cost of living is a lot because people have money are moving there.
Yeah.
Tech is big on the West Coast, including Vancouver. It's only 2 hours from Seattle. I mean, Vancouver is basically, I mean, I hate to say this, but it's basically the United States.
Yeah.
It's not, the culture is
North
relatively
America.
the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
Canada is very similar to North America, even though obviously there's different things. But let's be honest, there's
yeah.
plenty of NBA players that Brandon and I could list right now that are Canadian that you'd say, well, I didn't know that.
Andrew Wiggins, Nick Stauskas,
Uh, Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray is. Chase Claypool is from British Columbia,
Yeah.
where Vancouver is, and he's on the Steelers.
Yeah, shout out Jackson Wark, St. Louis University there. Guy I played with in a summer baseball league. So again, there's plenty of athletes coming down to America playing college athletics, pro athletics that people probably don't even realize. All right, so the next thing we wanted to do, all right, we have Brandon sitting there in Seattle. I'm in Vancouver. Give me a player that you would want on your team, okay?
And a coach.
And we didn't pick like LeBron, Steph. We didn't pick those guys. Again, we're saying like this is an expansion team. Who could we get? And then a coach. All right. So player and coach go.
Well, I just want to say I'm going to be the Seattle Supersonics again. And as my ownership group, I am going to have, I'm not going to say they're the majority owners because they don't have enough money for that, but I do. I'm going to have Sean Kemp and Gary Payton as in my ownership group. You got to get the legends in there.
Yeah.
You got to. My player and coach, I'll start off with coach. Maybe you can guess. Well, I told you who my player was. My coach is going to be Mike Krzyzewski. I'm getting him out of Duke. Duke's been a stinker. He's been a stinker.
You picked the Seattle Supersonics.
Yes, listen to me. And my player and my player is going to be Zion Williamson. I'm bringing the house to New Orleans for Zion. I'm giving everything to New Orleans. I have Coach K, I have Zion, and then I have Sean Kemp, my man Sean Kemp, who, by the way, Zion reminds me of, and Gary Payton as my ownership group, and I'm the Seattle Supersonics. And guess what? Everyone's going to come see my games, and I'm going to make a lot of money, Johnny Manziel money.
All right. Well, I think you should have included Ken Griffey into that, as well as Russ into that ownership group. All right. Now listen. I could have gone so many different players. I'd love to have Jamal Murray, but guess what? Denver ain't giving him up. I don't want Wiggins right now. Just saying. So I'm going to take a guy just a little bit younger, okay, as my player. And I'm going to say his name wrong, but Brandon knows him. Shai
Gilgeous-Alexander. He is Canadian. Dude, he's good. He's on Oklahoma City.
Yes. He's averaging 19 points.
He's good.
This season. He averaged 19 points last season. He's only 22.
Where'd he go to college?
Kentucky. All right there.
Yes, he did. Kentucky.
So listen, I wanted to keep the Canadian train rolling. Now, a lot of guys actually are from Toronto that are in the league. Not all of them. But again, I didn't think I could get Jamal Murray. Maybe I could have got Andrew Wiggins, but I'd overpaid for him. So let me get this young guy in OKC out of that situation. And now, hey, my Canadian boy, lead the team. And I think you take pride in that, right? Like if I'm from Philly and I played from the Sixers, I would take great pride in that. So on and so forth. You could say this about a lot of guys. They take pride in playing from where they're from. Even D Wade went to Chicago for a little bit because he was from Chicago. Kind of want to play for the team that you rooted for, right? So my coach, I wanted to go a Canadian coach, but Steve Nash is already gone. He'd been my number one pick. My number two pick was going to be Rick Fox. Get the popular guy in there. He's been in movies, TV shows, NBA champion. He doesn't want to be a head coach. Maybe he'd be a great front office guy. Get to show face, all this type of stuff. It's the later half of his career type thing. But how about a guy that knows the West Coast? He recruits in this area all the time. I am also going college here, Brandon. Let me get Mark Few from Gonzaga.
Hey, that's a good pick. Good pick.
Listen, Gonzaga has been they obviously haven't won the big game, but they're consistently
they'll win this year.
Great teams. And here's the thing, he doesn't have to leave. When you're consistently this good, it's not like he has to go to Duke or something. Now, if he got offered that job, would he probably go? Yeah, probably. But again, he's at a top tier program now in Gonzaga. But hey, why don't we take this to the next level and you get to run with it? This is your city. You be an NBA guy. Mark Few, I just think just based off the location and area, that would be my guy. Now I got a player and a coach that people are like, that's who you're starting it with.
I like it.
But there's some pride in right there. And we are going to play with pride for the Vancouver Wild.
I like it. I do like that.
All right.
Because I think Mark Few is a great coach and obviously a good recruiter because this year, this team that Gonzaga has right now is – I mean, I've watched maybe 4 of their games. Ooh, they're a problem.
Yeah.
They're a big-time problem. They're my pick to win it all. I watched that Iowa game, man. Gosh, I forget the kid's name. He's a freshman. Anyway, he's a beast.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to get into college basketball here in the next couple of weeks with NFL and college football winding down there. And we'll get into more NBA too. All right, well, that is it for our what we do for our expansion teams. Now, last thing we're going to cover before another surprise ending to today. Top 5 sporting events that we've been to as fans.
Yeah.
Now, there were some really good games that I'm sure Brandon's been a part of, whether for whichever reason, and I've been a part of, whether again Brandon playing different golf matches or whatever. Maybe it could even be. Let's be honest. I'm sure you played in some good intramural games and
I
stuff like
have.
that. So we're not saying games we've played in, but we're saying as games we've been as fans. And then I've played in some really and coached in some really exciting games. But we're saying as fans, top five sporting events. Now, again, Brandon and I aren't some money bags. We haven't been to all these Super Bowls, playoff games, all this stuff. We're saying top five for ourselves. So it can be good experiences, good games, whatever it may be. Brandon,
All
go
right.
ahead and tell your five there.
All right. I have 6, but I mean, I'm doing honorable mentions. I
Okay.
just want to say honorable mention, and you'd appreciate this because you went with me. UD hockey games when we were kids. Weren't those fun?
Yes, they were.
Oh my gosh, those were the best to go to. And I honestly, I still to this day don't know a whole lot about hockey. I mean, I watch it occasionally. I watch the Olympics, you know. I'll go to a few Flyers games here and there. I'm not an expert. I don't know a lot of players. I know Connor McDavid. I know Sidney Crosby. You know, I know the big time players, but I can't name, you know, like in football, I know backups. I don't know backups in hockey. I don't know who's on the third line in for the Edmonton Oilers. I don't. But I will say, these UD hockey games that our dads took us to, great. And also another honorable mention, Little League World Series games. You know, those were always fun
Those were
going to
good.
as a kid.
I
We
didn't
went
even think about that. That is great. You're right.
See? No, that stuff. So the first year our dads all took us to the Little League World Series in 2005. I don't know if you remember this. By the way, we did see Cody Bellinger play. Anyway, 2005. I know you remember this. This was when Hawaii was part of the Northwest. The very first game we went to, it was at Hawaii team from Iwa Beach, Oahu in Hawaii. They had like all these dudes with like long blonde hair, and they were warming up, throwing the ball. I'm sitting there. I'm literally like 9 years old. They're like 12. They're twice the size of me. I'm like, oh my God, these kids are something else, right? This kid's throwing 75 out there. Sure enough, I think I had told my dad, I'm like, there's no way these guys lose. They ended up winning the Little League World Series. I don't know if you remember that, but holy crap, those kids were just different. But I'll get on to my five. Number 5 for me, and the reason this stuck in my head, because this was a fun game, not to watch. It wasn't like a close game, but it was just for me. The Yankees Orioles in 2019. This is when the Yankees, I think, did not lose to the Orioles like at all. Would they win like 18 out of 20 against the Orioles? I went to a game. I took off work one day and I went with my sister. I met her in Baltimore, and I'm pretty sure Gary Sanchez hit 2 home runs and Gleyber Torres hit 2 home runs, and Aaron Hicks or someone. The Yankees hit 5 or 6 home runs, and it was just like an entertaining game. I think it was like 13-0 or something outrageous like that. But for me as a Yankee fan, it was cool to see. And we had seats right behind home plate, lower level, because the Orioles, Camden Yards, great stadium, terrible team,
Yeah.
cheap tickets, you can sit close. And my sister had the hookup because she lives in that area now, and someone had tickets. So, you know, we could get close, and, you know, seeing just Gleyber Torres and Gary Sanchez just hitting home runs that close, it was fun to go to. Number 4, I want to say I did go to some baseball games in Oakland in the Coliseum. Terrible venue, the worst venue I've ever been. And I have been to games in the Giants, San Francisco Giants. Great venue. It poured, and the game ended up only being like a few innings with my cousin Sarah. But that field, we sat in McCovey Cove. I can honestly say that was a cool venue, even though it was raining. But the reason I bring that up, I took a trip out to the Bay Area, and in 2019, so the year with Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, the last year that Steph Curry, Klay, Dre, and KD were on the team, I enjoy basketball. So as a fan, I wanted to see the Warriors play in person with that team. And now that I graduated college and had a job, I could afford it. So I went out and I saw the Warriors and Pistons play. And this game, for me, it was cool to see. But it's crazy the things that happened this game. So Steph had 26 points, Clay had 24, KD only had 14. And I remember this vividly. Kevin Durant had under 10 points going into the fourth quarter, and he didn't miss a shot. In fact, he was like 5 of 5 from the field. He had 11 assists this game. He passed the ball like the entire time. He was not trying to score. When you see Kevin Durant not even put effort into score because they were playing the Detroit Pistons, Luke Kennard was balling, but other than that, the Pistons stink. Reason I bring this up, why it's memorable to me, Steph Curry literally made a guy fall from a crossover. Now, he did miss the three-pointer after, but I will always remember seeing Steph Curry actually cross someone up. And Clay, I don't think he missed this game. I really think he was like 8 of 9 shooting. Like, he made every shot. So for me as a fan, that was a good game. For number 3, Duke, Virginia Tech. In 2015, this should be higher on my list, honestly. It was a 91-86 overtime game. I don't know if you recall, that's the Duke team that won the national championship. I went down to Blacksburg because I went to school in Virginia, and I went down and visited a friend and saw this game in, God, what is it called? I forget what their arena is called in Blacksburg. But Jahlil Okafor, Tyus Jones, Grayson Allen, Quinn Cook, Emil Jefferson, Matt Jones. That team was stacked. Virginia Tech stunk, but the game was close. Okafor had 30 points that game. He dominated. I remember in pregame warmups, Grayson Allen made 18 three-pointers in a row, and this was when this was early in the season. His coming out didn't even happen. You see this freshman, I'm like, who is this guy? He literally 18 threes right in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Like, oh, okay. I thought I was a good shooter. Right?
Compare yourself to a Duke freshman.
Right?
Oh
hey,
God.
I mean, I was a freshman in college, so I'm like, hey, why can't I be like this guy? Obviously, I'm 5'10", and I'm not.
We got to pull up a picture from your freshman year there.
Jesus. My number 2, and this was last year. I flew down to good old Raleigh-Durham Airport to Duke's campus. Now, I am a Duke basketball fan, but I am a Notre Dame football fan. I know you can't do that, but I am. I saw Notre Dame play Duke last year. Duke's not the greatest football program, no. But Notre Dame was ranked in the top 10, and I'm a Notre Dame fan. And remember, Notre Dame is in Indiana. I live on the East Coast. That was the closest they were going to be. And I flew down, a few of my buddies from college. We went to the game, and I remember this vividly. And I've been saying this all along. Chase Claypool, man, that game, he had like 2 one-handed, like long catches for touchdowns and just long catches. He balled out. Ian Book had over 100 yards rushing because he's a terrible quarterback. But that's a different story. It was to see Notre Dame in person was really good. And my number 1, I know I'm taking forever, but I mean, I'm just bringing up memories. And shout out Zach on this one. Yankees Phillies. My birthday, June 26, 2018. Now, this game for the Yankee fan that I am was great. Jake Arrieta sucked dog crap this game. I will always remember this. Jake Arrieta versus Luis Severino. Severino had 9 strikeouts, gave up 0 runs, a few hits. Now, the reason it's so memorable for me, this is the first time in my life I saw Aaron Judge hit the ball, and I saw Giancarlo Stanton hit the ball for the first time. I've never seen those 2 guys live. I've seen the Yankees a bunch, but this was the first time that I saw. Wait, no. Yes, this is 2018. Yes, it's the first time I saw them, right? In warm-ups, and I'm not making this up, in warm-ups, because we were right behind home plate. We had really good seats. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton hit the ball out of Phillies Stadium. They hit it out of Citizens Bank Park. I can't make this up. I've never seen a ball hit so hard in my life. To this day, I still talk about it. I've never seen a baseball hit that far. Both of those two combined, it was like a show. Everyone was like, what in the world? Boom, 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 out of this stadium. And those are my top picks. I know I took longer, but hey, memories, man.
You're fine. All right, so my honorable mention, I say same thing there. Those hockey games are always sick. Any of those whack Delaware games we went to for
Hey, they were
basketball.
fun, man.
We used to go to the Grottos before I knew what Grottos was up in Newark, when I thought it was just for pizza and popcorn.
Do you remember that kangaroo place, Matilda's?
Yeah, they got in trouble actually during COVID for not doing COVID restriction stuff.
Oh, shit.
But it is a cool spot. Those games were always awesome. I think we're more worried about getting the hockey pucks.
Oh, we were, absolutely. Oh, let me go get mine real quick.
Some other ones, Little League World Series, like Brandon said, the whole whenever they show those kids going down the hill on the cardboard, that was Brandon and I and a couple of our friends there, getting to do all the pins that are now I still have them. They're awesome. There you go. Look.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them.
I have a bunch of them too. I'll have to find them. But I went to the College World Series one year, went to a baseball tournament out there. Actually got to see the 2010 UCLA team that had Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer on it. And I saw Kyle Parker, two-sport athlete from Clemson, pick up a ball on the right field warning track and without a crow hop, throw it to home in the air. It's crazy how good those guys actually are. There was a great TCU game that we actually did not stay the whole time for. That was nuts. Wish we stayed for it the whole time. But we played baseball all day and then went to these games all day. We were just tired. But here are my 5 in no particular order. And I'm sure I'm missing some games out there. But first one, my first and only Ohio State football game. I went to Ohio State. All right, Columbus. Ohio State versus Purdue, 2008. Terrell Pryor was the quarterback. Okay, pretty sure he threw for 97 yards. 0 offensive touchdowns in the game. 16-3, Ohio State won. Okay. There's defensive special teams touchdowns. That's it. Defense, special teams. But getting to see a game day at Ohio State was amazing. Now, when they say on TV that they hate Michigan 365 days out of the year, everywhere you go, it was Ohio State. And pretty much, I'm going to be PG here, screw Michigan. That was it. Ohio State, screw Michigan. That's all you saw everywhere. I got Ohio State Buckeye necklaces, all this different stuff. I was lucky enough that my dad let me, when I thought I was going to be a NFL player, Ohio State player, all this stuff, let me go to one of the camps up there. I got to meet Jim Tressel. Been a big Ohio State fan for a long time. But again, that 2008 game, just seeing the game day atmosphere at Ohio State was unbelievable and something I will never forget. And I want to say, I could be wrong. This might have been the Michigan losing to Appalachian State around that time.
That was 2007.
Was that 7?
Yeah.
Okay. I there was some big upset that day on the board that everybody went nuts about too. All right, next up, 2007, Phillies versus Mets, doubleheader, and the games are relevant. The big thing that happened in this game.
Oh, we know.
My dad caught a Jose Reyes home run ball. Now, we were in the slanted, weird area to where our backs pretty much went up to the bullpen. All right. And my dad got this, I think, from a guy he worked with. He was a season ticket holder. Guy didn't want to go to the game. It was a doubleheader game. And so me, my dad, and then 2 of his buddies went up there. And Jose Reyes hits his ball actually to take the lead in the game and catches it. And when he catches, I'm not going to do the gesture here, but he pretty much looked like he was flicking off the entire city of Philadelphia. But Harry Callis actually gave it the defensive play of the game because he had to reach over the bullpen. The bullpen was right behind him.
Barehanded.
The dudes in the bullpen were like clapping. Everybody's going around us. There's a couple drunk dudes saying, "Throw it back, throw it back." He gave me the ball. If you look at the video, my dad has a video. He always shows it at least 2 times a year in random situations. Um, but again, you see a little kid flailing for the ball with his glove in front of him. It was me. No shot at catching that ball. But he actually won Defensive Player of the Game and got interviewed actually by the Yes Network, or the whatever the New York Mets.
Yeah, it's like it's something else.
Yeah.
It's Yes's
Interviewed
Yankees.
by the lady there too about the catch. So it was really cool and just kind of experience. Again, Phillies lost. I couldn't tell you the score. I just know that was to take the lead, but just that experience was awesome. Next, my first NFL game. First NFL game. Bengals versus the Ravens, 2009. 2009, okay? So I was like 13, 14 years old. Week 5. So it's actually a really, really good game. Bengals were losing 14-10 with 2 minutes left. Bengals drive down the field. Now in 2 situations, third down. One, Chad Ochocinco completely missed the ball, but it was kind of a bad pass. Ray Lewis, helmet to helmet, first down. 3 plays later, another third down. Boom. Pass interference on the defense against Chad Ochocinco there. They end up scoring with less than a minute left, and then they end up winning there. And it was, and I do remember this, it was days after Mike Zimmer, defensive coordinator for the Bengals, his wife died, and they actually did a good pregame thing there. The game was in Baltimore. They did a good thing there for him, so it was a big emotional game for them. And it was just a cool game to see because I was always a big Ocho Cinco fan when they did that Hard Knocks and he was doing the child please and all that stuff. Carson Palmer. This was early Joe Flacco. Ed Reed, who's one of my favorite defensive players all time. Ray Lewis. You got all these guys, that from my growing up were some of the greatest NFL players that I watched play just growing up, the popular guys. So that was cool to see. Next, 2016 Sixers versus Cavs. You're like, what? 2016?
Bro, the Sixers were booty.
But it was the time I started to see the process. Now, Embiid, first year really playing here, okay, 2016. First time I ever get to see the best player ever, LeBron James, okay? So again, it's just like the people that saw MJ play in his prime. It's like one of those things I can tell my kids about. Hey, I saw LeBron James.
I've never seen LeBron play in person.
Well, Brandon, if you could imagine, that was the year after they won. They won 2016. This was fall 2016.
Yeah.
So they still had Kevin Love, Kyrie,
Tristan Thompson.
They had all those guys. I still remember one of the first bucket of the game. I think it was LeBron drives, underhand passes right to Kevin Love's chest in the corner, wet. And it was like, oh God, that was smooth. Then again, this was like the first or second home game. So again, people are still going nuts about Embiid actually playing. He gives the little shimmy dream shake hook shot for the first bucket of the game. And you would have thought the Sixers won the NBA finals. The place went nuts. But the big play of the game, I want to say it was like 11-9 or something. Fast break LeBron. Embiid's trailing. LeBron goes up for the layup. Embiid pins it on the backboard. And when I say the place went nuts for his first points, the place almost came down when Embiid pinned LeBron on the backboard. Place went nuts. Sixers ended up losing like 108 to like 102 or something. It was a pretty good game. But again, my dad, it was a birthday present, got me good seats. It was probably like 15 rows up behind the backboard that Embiid pinned LeBron on. So that was even cooler. So again, just a cool experience. And then the last game, not pro, not college. It was actually Dover versus Sanford state championship, not 2010, but 2019. I was a teacher in the school, coached in the school, coached some players that played football that were playing basketball. Dover was trying to complete the undefeated season. They did not. But that place, I swear to you, had to be the most packed state championship game I have ever seen in my life. Yuki Washington in attendance there, Dover alum. But again, the place was packed. Every seat packed. There were times where everybody was standing up. People were standing in the background. Did you go to that game, Brandon? I don't know if you
I
went.
did not. That was a UD, right?
It was. It was at the Bob at UD. So again, in a college stadium. Listen, there was a big shot. A guy I coached there, Eden Davis at Texas A&M Corpus Christi now actually hit a buzzer beater to end the third from about half court. And that was the loudest moment in a high school sports setting that I've ever heard in my life. Because even the Sanford fans were going nuts because I think that ended up putting us up by 3 to go into the fourth quarter. But it was like, this game cannot get any better. Dover ended up losing late. They tried to stall out. Sanford hit a couple shots, actually got fouled on a weird foul. There with like 20 seconds left, tie game. Sanford guy got fouled on a 3 on like a really weird chase
Oh, geez.
3, and the kid hit all 3 free throws
Yeah.
in the game. Dover just has some bad luck there in state basketball championship. Little trivia there. Anybody watching, any connections to Dover? Dover at the field house at UD went on to win a state championship, got a steal layup with like 2-3 seconds left. I forget, I want to say it was 70s or 80s. Whistle blown for a travel. Other team comes back down, hits a shot, game over. Dover basketball has some.
How about last year?
Luck. Huh?
COVID happens and they get crowned. They're in the Final Four and they get crowned co-champions, and they would have won.
If you're watching this in Honolulu, Hawaii, you're probably like, oh, I have no idea what they're talking about. For the locals, you will know. All right. So we do have a big surprise. Brandon, can you talk to the viewers while I get ready for this here?
So Nick is going to be special guest this week. I know we saw it last week. Unfortunately, I am not going to be because Brian Kelly and Notre Dame, of course, they put a stinker up. Anyone who watched that game knows that Ian Book declared for the NFL draft today. Well, Ian Book is never going to throw a pass in the NFL. With that being said, are we here? Are we ready? Hello?
Right.
What are you doing over there?
All right, here we go. So,
are you good?
For the 2021 Dr. Pepper National Championship, here's what we got.
Oh, here we go.
All right, everybody. So listen. What did I tell you, Dwayne? You didn't win a national championship here. You're not on an NFL team, or stop trying to get in the locker room right now. Sorry about that. All right, fellas. This is the day. This is the day we play for a national championship game. Okay? Now listen. Tonight, you shouldn't need a pep talk. I'm going to be short and sweet. Because if you're not ready to play tonight, well, listen, please stay in the locker room. Do not go on that field. Because guess what? If you aren't ready to play tonight, you're not going to help us out.
Oh, this is a yawner.
At Ohio State, we do not hang up runner-up banners. Second place does not get remembered. We only celebrate the best here at the Ohio State University. Remember this. There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die.
What are you, Sandlot?
Tonight, you become legends. That's all I have to say. Let's get it done. Go Buckeyes. Hey, short.
Penny the Jet Rodriguez with the speech there.
You shouldn't have to get excited for the game. It is the national championship game. Buckeyes, Trey Sermon, you're having a Zeke playoff. Just like I said last week, you had a great conference championship. You had a great first round, and you're going to capitalize it, leading the Buckeyes to victory over Alabama. If you want to hear my spiel about why Ohio State will be national champions 2021, Dr. Pepper national champions, go ahead and watch our pick show because I have a great speech for that. Buckeyes, get it done. Ryan Day, all the stuff. Urban Meyer's leaving. You're going to get it done. You're going to win a national championship. And that's all we have here tonight for Recliner Sports Talk. My name is Nick.
I'm Brandon, and
And
he is an Oscar winner for that.
yes, thank you. One last shout out here. I don't know if you saw this, Brandon, because I just saw it pop up. Actually, I think it's
The
recent.
Sixers are losing.
They are losing. That's not the information.
That's what popped up on my phone.
Bianca Smith hired by the Red Sox as a minor leagues coach, not a head coach, just a coach.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Good resume there. Law and business degrees. Of worked for 3 different collegiate teams. She's also helped out with the Red Sox in spring train, or sorry, the Reds in spring training. So something cool. Just kind of adding on to the Becky Hammond with the Spurs, getting her coaching experience there. Because Pop, classic, like a Belichick, get tossed out of the game there. Katie Sowers, I might be saying her name wrong. Her contract actually ended up with the 49ers, and she said she's not returning to the 49ers.
She's not, really?
I don't know if that's because, or if she's done, period, or if she just wants to move on to a different team. Not exactly sure. And then also piling on to what Catherine Smith did, was a special teams person with the Bills back in 2016. So it's just nice to see that, listen, Brandon and I both know there's plenty of coaches. Brandon's favorite team there, Notre Dame, had Charlie Weiss, who played high school football, and that's it. Listen,
I know.
If you are smart and understand the game, there are people that are very valuable. So I think it's awesome that these women are getting in, and not just women, just people that always think, well, God, if I didn't play in college, I didn't play in the pros, I will never have this chance.
Dude.
I love that this opportunity is happening, especially for women in sports and just anybody that didn't have that background.
You're right.
Awesome.
And I love how you brought that up. Charlie Weiss literally has no experience.
Mike Leach.
What does he know more than anyone?
Yeah, it's
so like, I'm serious. Like, you could be a coach and not have to play the game. It's possible. I mean, listen to me. I didn't play high school football. I didn't play high school basketball. I watched a ton of it. I know a lot of it. I could draw up some plays, you don't have to be on the football field to understand stuff. Now, it helps, don't get me wrong, but no, you don't have to.
It's like anything in life, right? If you put your mind to it there, obviously you need some connections, ways to get in the door. Once you get in the door, though, anything's possible. Hey, I'll leave it on this note tonight. If you always wait to have enough experience, you'll be waiting forever. Sometimes
you're right. You're totally right. You just got to go for it.
Yep. All right. And that is it. There's your motivation for the weekend, everybody. My name is Nick.
I'm Brandon.
Peace out, everybody.